You shouldn't laugh at that.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of We Watched a Movie. It's Ben, here with my buddy Matt.
What's up?
We just got through watching AntMan and The Wasp, and we are going to go balls deep into it today. Matt, start us out, man.
Oh man, dude, that film was an amazing time. Just so much fun from start to finish. It carries forward so much of the first Ant-Man in the way that the action scenes move about, you know, changing size and everything. Keeping that same conceit going very well, while at the same time still telling a really interesting and compelling narrative with one of the best Marvel villains so far, I gotta say. I really enjoyed the hell out of Ghost. She was really interesting and more of a desperate character than anything else, but I had a great time with her. What about you, man?
I loved it. I think it's one of the. It goes into the top 5. I think as far as Marvel movies. I know I keep saying that. It's like every time I see one of these, I'm just like, okay, well that one's got to bump some other ones out. Homecoming is still my number one. Without a doubt. I mean, that one still has yet to be topped, and this movie didn't even quite top Homecoming. It came very close. Especially with one particular scene in the very middle of this movie, which we are going to talk about, of course. But it's fun. It is action-packed. It never lets up. I mean, it's bam, 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 bam. There's never a slow moment in this movie.
Yeah.
I was never bored. I never felt like, ugh, can we get through this story bit here?
Are we having enough exposition?
Right.
No.
That never feels that way. Like the entire time you're moving, you're going, they're trying, like the whole time Scott Lang is on house arrest from the actions that he took during Civil War, and that was the agreement that he worked out with the government after he got taken in. And so that he didn't end up in, what was that?
The raft.
The raft, yeah, the raft. So like he's on house arrest this entire time, and he's like 3 days away from being done. Just like he's almost done, and then Hank and Hope come to him with they're trying to find Hank's wife and Hope's mother, who's masterfully played in this movie by Michelle Pfeiffer, by the way, and Michelle Pfeiffer's still looking very choice, by the way. And as I was saying on the ride over here, I could totally see why they cast her as Evangeline Lilly's mom. They both have very similar facial structures, and I could totally buy Evangeline Lilly being these two people's kid.
Yeah. And then even just the way that she carries about and moves with the characters, it feels like she's been there in that dynamic since the get-go. Yeah. And I think that's one of the things that this movie does best is keeping the characters consistent and moving them forward. Because there's so many points in this movie where you could have gone, here's this part where Scott Lang kind of gives up, and you could have left it there. And instead, they kept that character continuing going forward, especially with a lot of the consequences left over from both Ant-Man and Captain America Civil War. It very much keeps that Marvel feel of continuity above everything. But
for sure. Even
despite that, the consequences of everything that's gone on don't feel like they overweigh the movie either.
No. It's got its own thing going for sure. Yeah. It is standing up. Well, I mean, and that's one thing that Marvel does really well is they'll set up things in each one of their series that these are the tentpole standalone story elements of this particular character, and then here's how we interweave those elements into everything else that we've got going on. Just as an example, Iron Man. Iron Man's got the whole thing of having to, as he feels try to fix him and his father's company's past. And the weapons of war and that whole thing, and that aspect of his personality and his drive has been there from the first film and continues to be the main drive. That's the reason why he signed the Sokovia Accords. Yeah. That's the reason why he freaks out as much as he does about the Avengers, and why he tries to hamstring them as much as he does, because he doesn't want to hurt people anymore. And that keeps being brought up as an element of his. Here, they'd already established Hank Pym being former SHIELD, him having a distrust of the government because he also didn't like the way that his science and his discoveries were being used and put into use. And then you have that whole story element of of his wife and her loss to the quantum realm and all of that. Mm-hmm. So all of those things were already then established in the first movie as these are the elements that will continue and keep this this franchise, this part of our Marvel franchise going forward, on its own.
And evolving, too, because I think that's one of the things that this film does the best off of the first Ant-Man is it evolves so much more. It moves everything very much more in a fluid direction forward from what they were at the end of the previous film. Like Scott and everybody, around him have gotten so much more used to the shrinking technology.
Right.
And you see that in the way they fight, the way they move, the way they even...
Yeah, the way, they're shrinking and going giant is part of their combat technique so much more even than it was in the first movie. There's so much going on of them just getting big and getting small, and then she's got wings and she's flying all over the place, and then she's like blowing things up like that frickin' salt shaker that just
my goodness,
and the Hello Kitty Pez dispenser that gets just turned gigantic and like launched down there, and then her turning that dude's bike all tiny and just and it's like, and he's crashing. It's just amazing, dude. Just some
even in little ways, even in little ways, there are moments where they get caught. Like there's a great moment in the middle of one of the chase scenes in the film where Ghost has Evangeline Lilly in a headlock, and she just shrinks out and comes back kicking ass already. Yeah, and they make it so fluid and so much a part of the overall motion of the scenes and everything.
I kind of wonder in some ways how much jiu-jitsu and MMA mastery or technique or knowledge their fight director has, because there seems to be a lot of that, like in the way that they do. There's a lot of like body contact based fighting technique and mechanism to a lot of those fight scenes and the fight choreography in them.
And it really polishes everything on the movie, just so moving it forward. Because there's so much polish to this movie too. Like everything looks good. The effects, a lot of the stunt work, both in fighting and in driving, looks so good and so well done from this movie and the way that they've shot it that it blew my mind, man. Just some of the parts I was going insane over. I really was. Because it just, there are so many films where it's hard to keep that going, but they do it really well throughout this whole film.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. No. There's so much, so there is so much I want to talk about with this movie, but I want to definitely cover a couple of things and make sure we cover them. But so the first thing is Morrissey. Morrissey is a topic of discussion, and not even just like, I like Morrissey albums, like one line or something. No, it's an entire bit. So Michael Peña's character, as we all know from the first film, has those and then this guy said this, and he was like, hey, come over here and check this out, and then the other guy was like, oh, that's pretty cool, and they reenact them and everything, and they do that again, a couple of times in this movie, and the big one is where he's talking, he's under the control of the truth serum, which isn't a truth serum. There's this whole running bit in the middle of the guy who's actually administering it being it is not a truth serum, it is this complicated chemical, and
everybody else is
it's a truth serum, dude. What you said it does, and the whole reason for it is a truth serum. I don't understand, And so Michael Peña's under the truth serum, and he's talking about all this stuff, and he mentions I guess what is it, his grandma or something, or some woman who has a jukebox with nothing but Morrissey songs, and he references how Hispanic people call Morrissey Maz, and just the whole, dude, it was like for one, it lets me know that Michael Pena is obviously a Morrissey fan. First of all, Michael Pena, if you can, email us or get us on Facebook or something and let us know if that is true. Sure, that'd be great. But it also was just, I didn't expect it. It came out of nowhere. It kind of like, it felt a lot too like a nod almost in some ways back to that moment in the first movie where he's in the briefcase and like he bumps into the iPhone and it's like, now playing Disintegration by The Cure, and you get like the first few seconds of the entire album of Disintegration in like this fight sequence, which is just fantastic. But yeah, so Morrissey randomly shows up in this movie.
And I saw you in the theater just like getting so excited, man. You were ready for the Morrissey.
Are you kidding me? I love Morrissey, and anytime in pop culture that he pops up, I am ridiculously excited about it. Like way more. You would think I was Morrissey for the amount of time. Like I'm just like, oh my God, Morrissey's in the movie. He wasn't even really in the movie, but there's this great reference to him in it. But at any rate, so the other thing that we have to talk about, we've got to talk about those close credit sequences. So the movie goes through, it does its thing, everything happens. They get the Ghost Girl help, they get Mom out of the quantum zone, they do the shit that they need to do for the film, right? And as we all know, this has taken place in the aftermath. This is released this is the first one, right?
Yeah,
this
in
is the
terms
first
of actual
Marvel movie
timeline is
after Infinity War.
Yeah, and it very much keeps that tight, like timeline of this was occurring about the same time.
Right, this is occurring in the days leading up to the end of the film of Infinity War, literally in the days leading up to it. And so we get to the close credit sequence, and they're going to get more of these healing quantum waves or whatever, some source of healing power for the ghost character, for the girl who is, because she's got this weird thing where she can't, like her molecules can't stay in one place at any given time without serious assistance. Yeah. But like they're getting to a point where she can't last. And it's like almost like she's got this quantum terminal illness, which is weird but awesome idea. Yeah. And so they're going to the quantum realm to get more healing elements for her and whatnot. And they shrink Scott down to like quantum level, and he goes in through the quantum tube, and then like they're on the radio to him, communicating back and forth, and then the radio goes static, and he's all like, ha ha ha, real funny guys, great joke, but like tell me what's going on, and then like you come out to the to the lab setup that they had,
and there's precisely three ash clouds.
There are 3 ash clouds.
That was a heavy moment.
Holy crap, dude. I was like, oh, I wasn't expecting that. Like, I knew that, and we had been, like I say, we've been talking about this leading up to this, because knowing, in the aftermath of the story and knowing what happened, we're like, okay, there's somebody's going, and I was expecting Hope. I was expecting Mom, maybe, if they got Janet, if they got her back, but like, I wasn't expecting all 3 of the Pims
for them to just go. But it does bring me back to a lot of the one of the things that I think was the best in this movie is the character work, especially on the part of like all 3 of the leads, Evangeline Lilly, Paul Rudd, and Michael Douglas, all killing it in this movie.
God,
like they're just,
no doubt. Even the secondary people are killing it in this movie, dude. I mean, Michael Pena and DeSmolchin and T.I. are just hilarious. Just chewing the frickin' scenery every time they're on the screen. I mean, that whole running gag about the truth serum is one of the best bits in this whole movie, man. But and then the Baba Yaga thing with the small chin, he's all Baba Yaga. When Ghost shows up, he's all like freaked out, and he starts singing the Baba Yaga song to himself and kind of rocking a little bit. It's great.
Well, that's the thing is that they really sell the humor effectively in this movie. There's so many points where I think the humor could have really faltered, like the whole scene where they're interrogating Michael Pena, if it was not Michael Pena, T.I., and Dave Dastmalchian pulling that scene, it would have slowed the entire film down.
Yeah,
but the humor is just so well done.
And those guys working, and this being their second movie, they now have comfort to be able to work with each other. Because, they've done a whole other movie before, and so they do know each other in the sense of how well these guys do know each other in the script. And you kind of put a little bit more of that into it, and it felt that way. It felt like a little more.
It feels so much more comfortable throughout all of their scenes, and I think that's what leads to a lot of the way that they deliver lines so smoothly in this film. Is they're so obviously a good rapport between the three of them, and the leads too. That these jokes that really shouldn't be landing as well as they do land with great impact.
My God, dude, I laughed a lot during this movie.
Almost the entirety of the film.
Speaking of laughing a lot, Stan Lee's cameo in this movie was fantastic.
Oh my God, that was one of my favorite jokes.
Well, because he's
about to unlock his car.
They're in a chase scene, and Evangeline Lilly has been shrinking and making stuff big, this whole time, and trying to fend off the bad guys by doing that. And she ends up shrinking this car, and we cut to the guy getting into it, and it's Stan Lee making his cameo, and he looks down at his car's, his car's just disappeared, and he's like, well, the 60s were fun, but I'm paying for it now.
God, that was such a great
moment, dude. And
but there's so many great little moments like this in this film. There's the cops showing up at the end of the film when and they come to get Dave Dastmalchian and T.I. And they have that great joke of, it wasn't us, it was them, and the True Serum guys are on the floor next to each other.
They're just going on, and then the True Serum guy finally goes, it is a True Serum.
God,
but it's very well written. It's well paced.
It comes out effectively swinging out of the gate.
Oh God, no doubt.
And it's a great time from start to finish.
Great
I really
pace.
enjoyed this movie.
Yeah, for sure. Man. Well, that was Ant-Man and the Wasp. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as we did. Until next time, you guys keep watching movies, and we'll see you later. Hey everybody, thanks for watching that episode of We Watched a Movie. Be sure you like, share, and subscribe for all of our videos. Make sure you leave a comment in the comment section down below. Check out our other videos over here to this side. And when you want to receive notifications of when our videos come out, make sure you click that bell icon. Until next time, you guys keep watching movies, and we'll see you later. Hey everybody, it's fuck me. What was I doing?